Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a palette that I mentioned a little while ago now, but I've never done a video on it sharing with you swatches and a try on, so I thought I would do that for you today. Of course it's Thursday and that only means one thing on my channel, and that is Thank You Thursday. So Thank You Thursday is where I give a big thank you and shout out to one particular person. If you would like to be with a chance of a shout out next week, all you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, and then keep those comments coming in, and that's on YouTube and Instagram, because I love to hear your thoughts about what I'm talking about and sharing that particular day. So yeah, do keep those comments coming in. Now the person that I want to give a big shout out today is someone that sends me the most fantastic comments. I love to read all of your comments, as I always say. And I always consider my channel a friendship circle, so I really love that I receive all of the love from you all. So, but the person that I want to give a big thank you and shout out to, now this is a long name, is Foxiepaws ACAnderson. I had to read it to make sure that I got it right, so I'll just mention it again. So a big thank you to Foxiepaws ACAnderson. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate all of your wonderful comments, and of course do keep those coming in. Now getting on to the product that I want to share with you today, it is a little bit more expensive, and all of those details will be down below for you. It is from Urban Decay and it is the Moondust palette. So it looks like this, and I love the packaging. It is just so beautiful. On the back it gives you all of the information, and it also shares with you the shades that are in here as well. So the information that is in here is actually in French, I believe, and English. So just a little bit of information about the palette, but I really love the packaging. Beautiful. Now like I said, this is a little bit more expensive. I think I picked this up in a sale because Debenhams is always really good at having those sales, so I always tend to purchase more expensive palettes at that particular time. But of course I will have all of that information listed down below, where I picked it up from Debenhams and things like that. Now the actual palette looks like this. So again, I really like it. It's got Moondust across there along with Urban Decay, and I really like it. It's quite a thick palette. It isn't that heavy, it's quite lightweight, and you can see all of the sparkle there on the palette, although it's not particularly sparkly, is it? It's quite matte. So but the Moondust is certainly very mirrored there. On the back, again, it names the palette with your regular sticker that most of these palettes seem to have, and then obviously that is followed through from the top. Then when you look inside, you have got a big mirror which has some plastic on it, and I haven't taken that off because it's so difficult to share with you mirrors, so I've kept that on there. And then these are the shades that you get. Absolutely beautiful. I was really excited about this. Now the reason I actually went for this palette was this particular shade here, that pink shade. I absolutely loved the look of that. I mean, I'm just such a big fan of anything pink. If there is a, I don't know, if there is a colourways in store, clothing, makeup, I'm always drawn to the pink, and I actually swatched that shade, which is called Spectre, in store, popped it on my lids in the store, and that was it. I then went back a couple of days later to go and pick this up. It is such a beautiful looking palette, but of course, does it work that well? Well, we're going to find that out today. So I'm going to go through the swatches. I can't speak again. Okay, so we'll start off with my favourite shade that I really love. It's called Spectre, as I mentioned a moment ago. So it's pink, it's shimmery. What I also like about this palette, because yes, I really like glitter, and I like that look on the eyes of glitter, but what I don't like is I don't like too much glitter, because I tend to find that, especially with my eye shape, glitter tends to rub off and it then ends up down here. So although this is a sparkly palette, it's like shimmer and sparkle mixed in, and you'll see that from the swatches. So if you're expecting a full-on glitter palette, this is probably not the one for you, and I'd probably go with the loose glitters from Revolution, because they look fantastic. Now these, like I'm going to share with you in the swatches, you can see from the swatches already actually that I've shared with you, you've got much more of a shimmer with a little bit of sparkle, and that is what I loved about this palette. It wasn't, you know, it is not just packed loose glitter, which I just cannot wear because, like I say, of my eye shape. So you can see there's shimmer there, but there's also a little bit of sparkle, which I love. So that's Spectre. Then we move on to Element, which is the first duochrome here. It's orange with a pink shift to it. Beautiful. Then we have Magnetic, which again has a shift to it. You've got like a brown with a purple shift. We then move on to the last shade on the top row, which is called Light Year. This is beautiful. Really, really stunning. And again, it's got a little bit of a shift to it, hasn't it? It's turquoise, it's got green, it's got a little bit of yellow in there. So if you love that kind of colour, you are going to love this. And then we move on to the second row, and the first shade is called Granite. This is very, very cool tone. But it's just beautiful, isn't it? I don't typically go for this kind of shade, but because it's got that shimmer, it's got that sparkle, it just looks beautiful. Then we move on to Lithium, which is brown with a beautiful shimmer to it. So if you like your neutrals, you are going to love that one. Then we move on to Vega, and it is a beautiful royal blue, but it looks aqua as well. It's just absolutely stunning, so beautiful. And then the last one is called Galaxy. Now in the pan, this really doesn't look like this shade at all, but this one, it just looks beautiful. In the pan, it just looks like a navy blue, but then when you swatch it, it's got green in it, it's got, I don't know, teal. It's just stunning, and you can see that again, the base to that is brown, as to most of these actually, especially these ones with that kind of shift. It's more of a charcoal brown, isn't it, whereas this is a true brown. So those are all of the shades within this beautiful palette. So if you love your shimmer and sparkle, you're going to love these. Now what I'm going to do, because obviously this is a shimmer palette, I cannot use just these on my eye. I need a base. Now of course you all know that I love this palette. It is my top matte palette at the moment. It is just something that if you haven't got this, you need it, and it is the Revolution Reloaded Basic Mattes palette. Every time I say basic mattes, I want to say, and I'm going to say it again, it's not a basic palette. I really don't like the name of it, to be honest. I wish they'd named it something else, because of course it's matte, and I know why they called it basic, but there's nothing basic about this palette. I've used it so many times. The pigmentation on it is out of this world, and I'm going to start off with, I've already put a little bit of this shade on because I thought I was going to go out, and I haven't. So I thought I was going to go somewhere this morning. I'm going to actually start off with this one, so I've got the darker shades on the other one, so on the other brush. So I'm going to start off with this one, which again is one of my Next Eye collection brushes. It's very fluffy and it's going to work perfectly with that first shade. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of that in the crease and above, like that, and just deepen it out a little bit. But that's all I put on. I just love, love, love the pigmentation, the quality of this palette, and it's only £4. Now I wanted to go in with something a little bit cool tone, something that would work with the pink, that shade Spectre, and as you can see, that the shades that I've chosen really do make that Spectre shade pop. So I went in with this one here, which is very, very cool toned indeed, but these kind of shades work so well with pinks. So I'm going to just get my eye contour brush from Primark and just add a little bit of that on, and I'm going to pop it through the crease, which I have to do just to make my eyes pop a little bit because of the shape that they are. So I'm just going to run that through the crease and a little bit above, I suppose. And I'm also just going to get a little bit more of that and run that underneath. So it's going to be quite cool. With a hint of warmth. Okay, so keep blending that. The quality of these eyeshadows are just phenomenal. So I suppose I've gone from one extreme, quite expensive, to the other in this eyeshadow look. But it just goes to show that, you know, you can mix and match. You don't always have to purchase high-end, or you don't always have to purchase, you know, inexpensive. Okay, so that's that tone or eyeshadow added. I then went with this one directly below it because it works so beautifully with it. And that's another thing actually I love with this palette, is that you have got that medium toned, or you can, obviously you've got the light tone, medium, and then you've got that deeper tone. So it really works as a very cohesive palette. And I suppose that's another reason why I love it so much. Now I've gone in with that shade, but I'm not taking it right into the inner corner this time. And I'm just going to pat that onto the outer part of the lid. Like that, so it gives you the depth. I've got a stray hair that wants to get in on the act. Okay, so a bit like that. Just stunning. And I'm just going to pat that on rather than, just gives me the pigment that I want. And then I'm going to run that underneath a little bit. Now I've gone quite smoky, but of course, you know, you don't have to go that smoky. I'm just getting the first shade again just to blend that out a little bit. Like that. Okay, so that is the base added, you know, for what I want, I think. Let me just get my brush again. Just going to blend it there. I think that's okay. It looks blended in the mirror, and then when I look in the viewfinder it doesn't, but I think that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to get my first brush. Like that. I think that's okay. She says. Okay, I'm going to leave it now and trust what it looks like in the mirror rather than the viewfinder. Okay, so that is the base now laid down. I've then got one of my flat Wilko brushes, which I find so handy for not just carving out my brow but also patting on any product. So what I'm going to do is get some of that beautiful Spectre shade, so this one here, that beautiful pink. Now funny enough, when I purchased this there wasn't that many glitter products available. I was really, when I came across this, I was really pleased that I'd come across it because I'd been looking for a product like this for a long time. But then obviously Revolution came out with all of their beautiful glitters and loose pearls. Are they called loose pearls? Crushed pearls, sorry. Okay, now I'm just going to get my Pigment Boost from Obsession, and I'm just going to wet the brush, which I find so beneficial with my eye shape, and I'm just going to start working that product in. Now I want it to be more of a spotlight. I'm not taking it right in because I just need to add one more step for the spotlight as well. But I just find it easier to pop this on first. And you can see that is just beautiful. Not only that, if you wet the brush, and these do have that tiny little bit of glitter to it. Obviously it's not too much, but like I said at the beginning, it's more of a shimmer and glitter. And when you wet the brush, it just stops that from, if you like me put on all of your face makeup first, it then also not only adheres the product to your eyelid, but it also stops it from falling onto your face. So there is that product added. And also what I did was I then used this. Now this is the eyeshadow blending brush from Primark. It is 252. Let me just get it the right way up. That one there. It's quite a dense brush and it's round as well, and I found that it is very, very handy to get into, and I'm using now the last shade that I used from that Reloaded palette, getting a little bit of that on. Now you can see that that has worked perfectly there, and what I want to do with a spotlight is add a little bit of depth here. So I'm just going to pack a little bit of that there and then also blend that into the Spotlight Shimmer shade from the Urban Decay palette, and I'm going to do it the same on the outer part of the lid as well, like that. Now as you can see, I'm going to give you a close-up. I've closed my eyes a few times already, and you can already see that because I've wet the brush and then applied that product, I've got no transfer there at all. So I really, really love that. And that's why I'm using the technique of wetting the brush so much at the moment, because I've now found a technique that works for me. So I'm just going to then get my brush again from the flat brush from Wilko, and I'm just going to add a little bit more. You can never have too much. Like that. Absolutely beautiful. So that was the Urban Decay added. Then I added, in fact, the eyeshadow, because I added something else from Urban Decay as well. Now I love this. Is that blended okay? I think it is. Let me just get my brush. Again, in the mirror it looks okay, but then in the viewfinder it doesn't. I think that's fine. I'll look back and say it was fine. Okay, this is another product that I picked up, and I think I've shared it once on my channel, and I really want to go back and get another shade, and it is the Urban Decay Heavy Metal, is it called a liner? Yeah, eyeliner, and it's in the shade, if I can read it, it's so glittery. Oh, there we go. It is in the shade Grind, which I find quite bizarre for such a pretty product, and it looks like this. So this is the actual packaging, very reflective, very, very glittery, and then the product looks like this. Now I love this because it's so handy. It looks like this. It's very, very thin. I hope you can see it there against my top, but it just works if you want to add some glitter. And I use it just to go over the top. So you saw how great that eyeshadow was. If you want a little bit more glitter, just add some of this. You have to keep your eye, don't open your eye completely until it's dry, and you can tell. I'm just going to fan it with the palette. You can tell because at the moment it feels quite cool, but it will dry down in a moment. And it just adds another dimension to the look. But like I said, you don't obviously have to use this. It just adds a little bit more to the look. And if you're like me and you love sparkle, fantastic. Also, I've not actually done the inner corner. So again, I'm going back to my Wilco brush. I'm just so eager. And I'm just going to just add a little bit there. I'm not going right round this time, all the way round, because of course I've added that deepness there. So I'm just keeping it to that part of the eye there. So it's just adding a little bit of pink. I just love that so much. Now what I'm going to do is add my liner, and of course it is, I don't know why the lid's getting harder and harder to pull off. It is the Revolution HD Smoky liner in, of course, black. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of that. Just to add a little bit more drama, as if we haven't got enough with all the beautiful eyeshadows. And then of course I'm going to apply my Primark PS Amplif-eyed mascara. Whoops. Now of course I don't think, whoops, oops, I've got mascara now on my hair and it's dragged there. I'm just going to see if I can clean that up. Thank goodness I brought this brush in that I used to clean up my brow. Now I'm just going to have to pop a little bit more shadow here. These things happen and I should have put my hair back, but that's fine. It's easily resolved. There we go. Now I'm going to try that again without catching it on my hair. And I've done it again. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that is my look using the new Urban Decay Moondust palette. I have wanted to use this for so long and it has taken a lot not to use it in the meantime, but it's just been so busy with products and all sorts of things, hasn't it, with new releases and so forth. But at last I can now use it and the look is just beautiful, absolutely stunning. I think you'll agree. I'm just going to put a little bit, there we go. I've really enjoyed the palette. I would suggest that you wait until this is totally dry before opening your eye like I did. I think it's going to be one of those days today. If you would like a less expensive product to the Moondust, this hasn't got glitter in it, but it is a duochrome and they do have some really beautiful shades in this collection, then you might want to have a look at the Revolution Crushed Pearl Pigments. This one is in Minted. So it looks white. I've mentioned this a number of times now on my channel and I'm just going to swatch it. Now it's not quite the same as the Urban Decay. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it that well. But it does, it's white or cream and it has a pink shift and it looks beautiful on the eye, absolutely stunning. So if you want an alternative, because this palette is a little bit expensive, then do check out the pressed, I always want to say pressed, the crushed pearls, because they are stunning. Okay, so that's everything that I want to discuss. If you're interested in the lip products, I'm actually wearing the Soph lipstick in Cake, and I've also got over the top a gloss, and it is the Kiko Hydra lip gloss in 05, just to add a little bit of added glamour. absolutely love this. In the light, this sparkle in this is just beautiful. Absolutely love it. So as always, I would love to hear your thoughts on the Moondust palette. I would love to hear your thoughts on any of the products, the look that I've created today. Apologies for the mascara blip there, but it's all resolved, and it just goes to show that accidents happen, especially with mascara. And of course, congratulations to Foxiepaws ACAnderson. You really deserve it this week. Your comments have been phenomenal. So to everybody else, do keep those comments coming in, and if you're brand new to my channel, please do subscribe to watch further videos, and of course be in with a chance of a shout out next week. But until tomorrow, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Bye.